Hey, this is In My Lounge Room, and I'm your host, Skye.
And I'm your other host, Damo, and we're back for part 2 of Dating Horror Stories. Okay, guys, so what do you got to kick things off for part 2?
Another email from Anna.
All right, sounds good. Let's hear it.
Okay, I haven't read this, so I'm a bit scared. Okay.
All good.
Around the same time as the first date, but I'd been chatting to this other guy online a little longer. He was FIFO, so I was limited with how often we talked as he wasn't in range very often while he was away. Seemed to be getting along okay in the conversations we had on the dating site, but nothing really stood out to me about him either. He messaged me that he was arriving home that week and was wondering if I would like to catch up. I said yes, and he said he would cook me dinner. Ooh, okay. Mm-hmm. Did the usual message my best friend with all the details of where I was going, etc. This one was also in Mandurah. Oh, okay. I'm a Mandurah girl, and I'm yeah.
I've got friends who live in Mandurah. They are married. Actually, they live in out in Stake Hill. That's kind of Mandurah.
It's still Mandurah.
Yeah, they're normal people.
Yeah, I'm normal. Stop. Okay,
Sorry.
stop. Okay. I pulled up to his house after I got lost as the GPS kept guiding me in the wrong direction. I had to call him. He greeted me in the driveway out the front of a run-down weatherboard house about 100 meters from the beach. He was wearing what looked to be blue-collar workwear, stubbies to be exact, beige shorts and a beige short-sleeved shirt.
Jesus, it's Steve Irwin.
Crikey! but it was clean. But
That's
clean.
good. He had his going out workwear on. At least it wasn't high vis, like.
Exactly, right? He's in beige.
Yeah.
First impressions count, but I was not quite expecting him to be wearing this. He brings me inside to what looked like a tiny kitchen / dining / lounge room that was in desperate need of a makeover and probably a renovation. High ceilings with cobwebs everywhere, wallpaper peeling off the walls in places, and what looked like mold and rising damp in other areas. Sounds lovely. I sat down in the lounge that looked like it belonged in a garbage tip. I see something out the corner of my eye flying around but couldn't make it out. He was a gracious host and offered me a drink and pours a glass of wine. He keeps chatting while he starts to make us dinner, and as I look around, I can see something flying again. I look closer and realise it is a bush cockroach. What's a bush cockroach? Is that different to a normal one?
They're the big brown ones with wings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't do cockroaches. That's her, but that's also me.
My young lady who's out there, my
Yes.
daughter who I stabbed,
Yes.
she loves cockroaches.
Oh.
I don't know why. I think it was Wally with the little cockroach.
Oh,
because he's
yeah.
all cute and stuff. But she's like, oh, a cockroach. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah,
Get it outside.
Yeah, I don't like cockroaches. Okay, give me snakes and spiders any day, I agree, but not a cockroach. My skin starts to crawl when I realize it is not just the one I see. He looks up from his cooking to find me in the corner of the couch as I duck a low-flying cockroach, recoiling in horror. I start to say I don't like them, and he cuts me off, and they say, and says they are all over the house. Oh, no worries.
Oh, that makes it okay. Don't worry about it. They're everywhere. I've got heaps. That one's Dave. There's Barry. There's Margaret over there.
Crikey!
Oh, yeah, that's it. He's Steve Irwin of cockroaches. That's who you're dating.
Because he's close to the beach and is never home, they tend to get into his house a lot more. And he says they are harmless as he swats one away from the food. He doesn't like killing innocent creatures, so he also doesn't own any bug spray. I start to cry on the inside. Oh. Dinner is ready and I just pick at my food as I don't want to know what has crawled all over it. Yeah, gross. More and more of the bloody things are flying around. I think I've counted over 20 at this point. And they seem to be attracted to whatever perfume I'm wearing. It was almost
They're
like
attracted to fear.
It was almost like a reflex in the end to me, dodging the flying pests. Conversation was also a little lacking and I just wanted to get out of there. I lied and said I'd work early the next morning and needed to head off. He at least had manners enough to walk me to the car and then proceeds to jump in the passenger side after he opened my car door. What the heck? I looked at him in bewilderment. I started to feel a little bit of panic, and as I asked what he's doing, he said since I was leaving, he was going to catch up with a few mates and could I drop him off as it was just a short drive and he'd been drinking. Stupid me said no problem. A few kilometres up the road and I drop him off at a pub, and he said as he exited the car that it was great to finally meet me and would be great to catch up again soon.
Read the room, bro.
I said I would be in contact, not bloody likely, and waved him off. As I started to drive off, a woman comes out to meet him and he sticks his tongue down her throat right in front of my eyes. This was the catalyst for me to stop doing any online dating for a while.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that one wasn't as lengthy as the one before, but that dude had a whole other problem going. Look, I'm not going to, like if I go to someone's house, which I'm not going to do, but if I was to,
yeah,
and they didn't live in the nicest house, I'm like, well, that's it happens. How they live in the house, like that one before where Rob said he went to her house and there was just dishes everywhere. It's like, if you know someone's coming over, at least clean up.
100%, yes.
So, but the whole like communing with the roaches, the Steve Irwin of
and then the end when he just fully has a big like pash with the girl in the street.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Classy.
Oh yeah, it didn't work out with us. So if you could drop me off at my other hookup, I'll be out of here.
Can I quickly tell my best pickup story ever?
Sure.
That just for a bit of fun. I know it's got nothing to do with horror dating stories. So I was young. So this is in the days when there was mobile phones, but like, Nokias. And there were photo shops, like where you'd get your photos developed. So this is old school. I was at Rabbit Photo.
So it wasn't like, you go to Kmart and put your memory card in and print your photos. It was actually film, give it to the chemist or to a photo place.
Correct.
And then they look at your photos when they print them out.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that one. So it's like, must have been 2001. So a long time ago. I was about 20. Okay. So I'm in Rabbit Photo. I think I'd just gotten photos developed and I was with another friend of mine. And this is in Palmyra area. Mm-hmm. So, and saw this guy. He was very cute. He had like a bit of a mini mohawk. It's my type in those days. I like the punk boys. Mm-hmm. Anyway, sort of, when you do that sort of, oh, yeah. And then I left with my friend and then I went.
I had a mohawk in 1999. Sorry, go on.
Okay.
It was
cool.
blue.
Yeah, no, I don't think this was the colour. I can't remember. Anyway, I got home. I lived like a 1-minute drive away. And I went, you know what, I'm going to call Rabbit Photo. So I did. I rang Rabbit Photo. This is when there was like, landlines. And I said to the lady, is there a guy there with a mohawk? And she's like, oh, yeah, there is, yeah. And I was like, cool, can I speak to him? And she's like, okay. And I'm like, and so he got on the phone and I'm like, hey, I was just there. I was the girl. I can't even how I described myself. Mm. And he's like, yeah, I remember you. And I'm like,
you describe yourself as, I'm the hot chick who was just in there.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember you, you weirdo. And I'm like, do you want to catch up for a drink? And he was like, okay. Mm. So then I met up.
Boys and girls, this is how things happened in the olden days.
Right? Yeah. And so I did. So I met him at Rosie O'Grady's in Freo, which doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, does it?
I don't know. I had a good beef and Guinness pie there once.
Yeah, it's great. I had my 21st there. And I know. Anyway, and so the first thing he said to me when we sat down was that was the coolest thing anyone's ever done. And I'm like, yes, it was.
I've been watching movies.
Right?
Yeah, that's what people do.
Yeah.
Yep, go on.
Anyway, so then we had a good day and then we had a good second day and then he ended up having to go back to Sydney because he was a muso. Surprise. I know, right?
As hell.
I know. Yep. But anyway, I just thought it was the best line or just the whole experience and I still tell the story now.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's my story.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that was good. That's
thanks.
a great way to pick it. That's You can still do that.
I think
people.
I mean, you can't go to Rabbit Photo.
No. But I think people get a little bit freaked out by that. I'm sure that it happens though. Like people working in shops, maybe bottle shops, maybe like, I don't know, retail.
Yeah.
Where you might get a phone call on the work phone and like, hi. So I'm the guy with the tattoo knife on my arm. It was just in there.
Oh my
like,
God.
oh yeah, that creep.
Exactly.
You know, you can still do that. I've never done it. But why not?
Yeah, I've done it and it worked. It worked really well.
So you can stay with online dating, but also step a little bit outside your comfort zone and give it a go.
And it worked. I mean, we're not married now or anything, but it definitely worked. Yeah, musos, man. Hey, just quickly.
Yep.
So I messaged this guy on Bumble and I was like, oh, hey, I'm just doing like a podcast. And then he's like, hey, one for your podcast. Guy with 3 kids works 5 on a 2-in-1 roster and his kids on this only weekend off. Yeah, and don't have a gym, 6-pack body, dad with a dad body. That's his message to me.
Okay.
Sorry, this is live Bumble.
That just happened.
Just happened.
Mate,
wow.
Cry me a river.
Right. I didn't even know how to respond to that. I'm like,
what do you... Well, I don't understand what you're trying to tell us.
I don't know either. Like, to me, I don't understand. Is he saying, like I said, the dating, like the podcast about single mum, relationships, dating, I do it with a friend, it's heaps of fun. And then he's like, here's one, and then he says that, and don't have a gym, 6-pack body. Okay.
Mate, I do have a gym. And a gym membership. I have a home gym. I have a power rack. I have a lot of weights. I have a skipping rope. I have a boxing bag. I go to the gym where there's cardio machines and there's all sorts of things. I don't have a 6-pack body either, bruh.
Either do I.
No, but I'm sorry.
I know.
Sorry, Bumble man, but you make no sense.
No sense.
What are you saying? Like, I know I'm away all the time, and then when I'm home, I have to have those damn kids, mate. Sorry,
I know.
Well,
I'm going to leave that, and I'll maybe respond later. But it doesn't make me go, "Wow, that's super attractive."
You know, here's an idea for a future episode. We could just jump on Bumble and have live conversations with. If anyone thinks that's a good idea, leave us a comment on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, send us a DM on our Instagram in my lounge room. Email us, skyeanddamo@gmail.com.
Well, because I'm on Bumble and what else? Tinder. That's it, actually.
I think that'd be hilarious.
Oh, Hinge. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think that'd be funny.
Okay. Let's do it.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. We could just line up a few conversations with some men. Don't talk to them all day. And then when we're sitting here with the mics on, send them some messages and just see how they go. And then we'll just read them out.
Oh, you know what? I'll get on back onto like Plenty of Fish and a few others just for fun.
You know what we need to actually do is if we were to live stream on Facebook or YouTube, we can live stream on Instagram.
Yeah.
If we were to live stream on Instagram while we record the podcast, people can type in responses.
Yeah, and we can use some of them. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
It's probably mean, but whatever.
Yeah.
This
is our podcast.
Yeah. I think it's hilarious. I'm going to read I posted on my Facebook asking for horror stories, and a friend of mine, or someone I've known through the music industry as a guitar player in a local bands. So I'm going to give her name as Katie.
Hi,
it's
Katie.
Not her name, but Katie.
Okay.
So Katie says, it's not horrifying. Yeah, well, let me be the judge of that. But I did have a date with a doctor once.
Ooh.
Turns out his PhD was in mental health and in particular drugs and alcohol.
Okay.
I was super, super hungover.
Uh-oh.
Well, like I said, she's a musician, so that's unsurprising. Date was morning coffee. And the whole thing was like super weird and invasive therapy session where he was asking probing questions, like really wanted to know about my relationship with my parents.
Oh.
He was nice enough, but very clinical. Needless to say, there wasn't exactly a romantic spark, and I had to spend the rest of the day thinking, what the Yeah.
No.
Nah, mate.
No.
Maybe it's the type. You're a mental health professional though, but you don't have to be working all the time.
No.
I appreciate what you're doing. I'm a big advocate of therapy, but let people come to you and pay you for it.
Yeah, like I've got a really awesome psychologist friend, and do you know what we talk about? Reality TV.
Yeah.
Like that's all she wants to talk about. So literally the minute she walks out of that office, it's just crappy television and she loves it. And I love it, so it's the best friendship.
You don't need to be on the job all the time.
No.
Like, she made another one. Said another one was a date to meet up at a pool party.
Oh, fun. Also weird.
It is, but at least there'd be people there. But they're going to be all his friends.
Yeah. Oh,
interesting.
Okay.
So to meet up at a pool party that turned out to actually be a daytime bucks party.
What?
Right after the stripper left, and I'm not sure I've ever felt more uncomfortable and like a piece of meat.
Yeah.
The guy I was meeting was fine, but the rest of the group he was with, when you bring a girl to a bucks party, all the other guys are going to be like, "Oh, have you brought her to share?"
Exactly. Why would you think that was a good idea?
A stranger. Like if it's your girlfriend or your partner,
Different. Yeah.
and you're like, "Oh, guys, I'm going to bring, my partner," and they were like, "Yeah, she's cool. Bring her along."
Well, like my hens night, we this is obviously 10 whatever years ago or longer. We went off and then we came back to Voodoo Lounge. We met there with like girls and guys and had a good night.
I have close female friends, and if I was getting married and having a bucks night, I'd be inviting women to my bucks night. Yeah, you'd be there. So whatever, but don't invite strangers on a first date to your bucks night, you freako.
Yes.
So I was ghosted after. Not sure if that's because of how embarrassed he felt. Well, you shouldn't have done it.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Oh, seriously. Okay.
I'm going to quickly, I've got a few screenshots here. So this is from Catalina.
Okay, Catalina.
So young man has started off with, "You seem all right."
Oh.
Catalina's response, "Oh, I'm definitely not all right." And he says, "Oh God." She's giving him a little love heart. Then she sent the shrugging emoji.
My favorite emoji. Yeah.
Catalina's a smart woman.
Yeah.
His response to that, I'm looking at timelines, almost an hour later, keen on fun.
What?
So her response, "I hate fun." And he's like, "Wow, buzzkill."
No, you're an idiot.
You go away.
Okay. Is it your turn or my turn? Yeah. Okay, this is from me. So I was going to go on a date last Saturday with a guy, and I was willing to drive north, into Leederville. But I said to him, "So I'm heading north to the big scary land of Leederville," and I did a wink face, just to keep it lighthearted. "Do you travel as well?" This is his response. "For first dates, I don't travel far. This is purposeful after years of dating experiences. If catfished, it's less of an investment. Also, my experience is that women coming this way is good sign of her keenness." Like that sounds a bit Neanderthal. "For future dates, depends on how well the first one goes." So my response was, "Yeah, wrong answer. Bye." And his response was, "Really?" with a question mark. And I'm like, 100%. In the meantime, I'd been speaking to you anyway, Damo, and you said to respond with, "Seriously, thank you for saving me the hassle of wasting my time, as clearly you are not worth the drive."
Yeah.
What an idiot.
Absolutely not worth the drive.
No.
The first, very far, using that as a, very far. It's not very far. What does that mean? Like, I love you very much.
Exactly.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
What's too far? Well, what do you mean?
Also,
you're not coming from Kalgoorlie, mate.
No passport required. No. Also, my attitude is if you look at Tinder, you can choose the kilometres.
Yeah.
So choose 40 kilometres.
Yeah. Good point.
Yes. Don't choose 100.
If you only want to travel 2 kilometres, if you want to date your neighbours, do that.
Exactly. Right? I know. Yeah.
I drove 50 minutes to come here to laugh about you idiots.
Exactly.
Not you idiots. I'm not talking about the listeners. I'm talking about this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, get a grip.
I know.
Oh, it's that file under self-entitled douchebags.
Totally.
You're better off not having anything to do with.
And funnily enough, he's an American. You know me in accent.
Yeah.
It's another American. Oh.
Nothing wrong with Americans.
No,
but
I like Americans.
Yeah.
I have American friends, but for dating, it doesn't seem to work for me.
No, but I think it's also like because you're blinded by that accent.
Yeah, I am.
They're like, they already go up a couple of notches.
They do. Yeah.
So like someone who doesn't have that accent, who is that guy, you might see the red flags quicker.
Yeah.
But that was like, not drive for woman drive for me. If she interested, she do thing, not me.
Exactly.
I sit here on throne. Bring me thing, woman.
Yeah.
Get a grip.
Oh, also, he did have 3 degrees, which you reminded me of. He had his BA, then he had a master's, and then a PhD.
When did that come up?
Oh, quite early on, actually.
Why?
I think we were discussing I don't even know how that subject came up, but he was like, I have 3
He
degrees.
probably brought it up.
He did.
Because he needed to tell you how great he was.
Yeah, I know. And then
Cool, bro.
Yeah. But Oh, there were so many things in that conversation. When I read it back, I was like, "Oh, you idiot, Skye."
Oh,
I know.
it's not your fault, but I mean,
I
that's okay. So I've got another Catalina piece of gold.
I love Catalina.
She knows that I said we're going to be doing this. She's like, I'm going to send you so many things.
Whoa.
Hi, Catalina. How are you? So timeline, okay? So matched with him on 11th of the 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hi, Catalina. How are you? And then a little bit later. So the next day. Good morning, beautiful. Because she hadn't responded. Because she's probably sleeping.
Yeah.
She starts work at 6 a.m.
Also, she probably has a life.
Yeah, I know. She's not a person who stays up late. So she didn't respond.
Oh, she's a Skye.
Yeah, but yeah, she travels from down this way.
Yeah.
To or further east to the city and starts work at 6 o'clock every day. She's getting up at the crack of stupid.
Yeah.
So of course she's not going to respond to you, mate. So then he said, good morning, beautiful. She's gone, hola, because she's just saying hello.
Yeah.
And then, so that's on a Saturday. So obviously she's up, right? 8:01 p.m., right? So she's left it all day and responded. He's like, how are ya, ex? Straight away. Because she didn't reply. Got much on today? So her response, nah. And then he's responded a day later, oh, why not? Obviously, this conversation's going nowhere.
No,
so she's
nowhere.
She's like, oh, whatever, and leaving him alone. So the following Saturday, so oh, why not, was on Sunday, and she didn't respond. So 6 days later, when she has literally given him 2 words in this conversation because she's not interested.
No.
So 6 days later, he sends, hey, baby, ex.
What?
Mate.
Has he not learned?
Mate. And I'm sure this has happened to you.
All the time.
This has happened to all sorts of women. I've had messages from women I haven't spoken to in 6 months who like, hey, how you doing? Nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But she said 2 words to you, mate. She wasn't interested. Yeah. A week later, hey, baby. Ugh. Don't start calling people baby that you don't know. Got another one?
Oh, yeah. So my friend Jasmine messaged me a horror dating story. It's very quick, but it's quite fun. So she says, I told you about Tom, who I met at a mutual friend's wedding. They had a one-night stand. He called and took her out to dinner, and during dinner, his girlfriend rang. He said we had to wrap it up as he had her car and he needed to pick her up from work, and then asked her for a blowjob in the car on the way home. Isn't that great?
Legend, not.
Yeah, good times, good times. Yeah.
So another one here. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what he said or where it come from because I don't have the context of the conversation before this, but he has said, I have one of those. Seems like I'm ticking all the right boxes here. Mm-hmm. And then laughing till you cry emoji.
I love those tick the boxes.
And then she says, don't get ahead of yourself. His response, maybe I can get behind you instead.
Oh my gosh.
So her response, this is Catalina again. Yeah. So her response, and there it is. Yeah. Multiple A's in and. And he goes, ha ha ha, come on, that was funny. She says, yes, so funny.
So funny.
He goes, it definitely was. Clearly we have way different senses of humour. So she said, my sense of humour doesn't include making inappropriate sexual jokes to people I don't know, which is the appropriate response. And he says, it wasn't sexual. Get your mind out of the gutter. Maybe I wanted to do that trust thing where you fall backwards and I catch you.
Oh, I have so much to say to that.
No, you weren't, mate. No, you weren't. You're full
exactly.
of it. Do you have any more?
Okay, I have one from a mutual friend of ours. Let's call her, I can't even think of a name, Sarah. It's not Sarah.
Does her name start with an S?
No.
No, okay. Well, I don't know who the hell you're talking about.
Starts with a Y.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
Okay, but I couldn't think of any.
All right, yep.
Okay, so Sarah. So Sarah was, she went on a date the other day with a guy. Mm-hmm. And they matched on Bumble. They've been chatting. And so she went, okay, I'll go for a date. So she said they went out for coffee. So did all the right things. Then went for a walk. And then she said she was feeling really good about it. And there was flirting and it felt really nice. So she went in for a kiss. And he pulled back.
She initiated. Yep. Yes. Okay. Yep.
He pulled back and said, oh, no, I don't do sort of first date kissing or anything like that. Like I'm not ready for that, right? Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, okay, no problem. I thought it felt, yeah. So then he said, let's just sit here. So they sit on a park bench. He goes, hang on. And then, oh, sorry, you can't see me. I'm like using a phone, texting.
Yep.
So then the next thing he does is use his phone.
Or you could be playing PlayStation. But
that's true, I could.
Yeah.
She's at this small PlayStation. Anyway, and then next thing, she gets some messages to her phone. Guess what they were? Dick pics. While he's sitting next to her.
Wait. Okay. I'm breaking this down. So she's like, things are going well.
Yeah.
I'm going to be sexually empowered.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make the first move.
Yes.
And I'm going to kiss this guy.
Yes.
And he's like, no, I'm saving myself for marriage. No,
whatever.
I know he didn't say that, but you know what I mean. No, I don't do that on first dates. But here's my dick.
Yes, exactly. When she told me, I was like, what? How? I don't understand. She's like, you don't understand.
But nobody understands. He doesn't even understand. Like, there's you've seen those bugs, right? And they get parasites in their brains and their body, they turn into zombies, right?
Yes.
And they'll keep walking even though they are all rotten and they've got no insides.
Yeah.
They got a little worm in their brain that
tells them to keep walking.
That's what he had a parasite in his brain who suddenly took over. And that's my only explanation. Why would you do that?
I don't know.
When you said he took out his phone and then she got a notification, I'm like, oh, maybe he was sending her cute messages or something. Oh, this is going to be nice. But no, penis.
And you know what's great is your reaction. You've never heard that story.
No.
So that is a real reaction.
Far out.
I know.
Sarah, yeah,
yeah.
I can't even.
I know. I know. Like, I message her going, what? And then she's like, and he seems so nice. And she sent me a photo of his profile. He looked.
Oh, so he didn't send you the dick. No.
Oh, I know.
I've got another screenshot here of a Catalina's experience.
I love Catalina. She follows me now.
Yeah, I know. She's great. She's really good. Hey, Catalina. I know she's listening. Hey, you know what's really funny is a lady from work came up to me and she's like, I didn't know you had a podcast. I'm like, it was one of the HR managers. She goes, I didn't know you had a podcast. And I'm like, how do you know I've got a podcast?
Yeah.
And she's like, because I'm friends with Catalina on Instagram, and she posted a link in her stories. And so I went, and because she said she was going to be on the episode.
Yeah.
So she's like, so I went and listened to it. And halfway through, I'm like, that voice sounds familiar.
That's funny.
That's our Damien.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, oh, Damo. Oh, okay. Now I get it. That's why Catalina's on here.
Yeah.
And she said, but I didn't realize, she said, I listened all the way through and I'm like, I didn't hear Catalina's part. And then she realized that we'd used a fake name and she had to go back and she's like, okay, I've got it. But yeah, I'm like, hey, yeah, that's me. But she really liked it.
Excellent.
So, shout out.
Yeah.
So anyway, she starts off pickup line. Okay. Hey, maybe you can help me. I forgot the password to my account. And when I hit password hint, it keeps telling me Catalina's Snapchat.
Format.
So she says, your generic pickup line is shit. If you even bothered to read my bio, my snap is on there. Shrug emoji. Like, yeah, clearly didn't call him out.
Yeah, go girl.
So he can't let it die because, he needs to.
Yeah, he needs to feel.
Yeah, I got to
powerful.
be in power here.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd ask before some random adds you. Hey, and this is in inverted commas.
Yeah.
So she's quoting him. Hey, I am going to add you on Snap is sufficient.
Definitely.
Just embrace being caught out on your shitty copy and paste job and then little X because she's like...
Oh, she's awesome.
And then he goes, True hasn't been your first and probably won't be the last. Just play hard to get then. I like it.
Oh, vomit.
Right. So this is when she sent it to me and was like, I'm a little bit triggered by play hard to get.
Yes.
Because the way I see it, you're not playing hard to get. You don't want to be got.
No.
So what someone is like, yeah, I like a girl who plays hard to get. What they're saying is, I like trying to force my will on someone who doesn't want to do something that I want them to do. Mm-hmm. Bro, like that to me is like, I don't respect your consent.
Correct.
So I said that to her. I said, yeah, this is why I think telling someone that they play hard to get and you don't like, and you like that means. She just said in quote, play hard to get. Translation. So she actually copied and pasted word to word what I said. Translation. I'm a bit rapey and your consent means nothing to me. So his response was, you're just straight up brutal. You're always like this. I'm pissing myself laughing because she's just copied and pasted what I've said. And I'm like, yeah, you go. And so her response is, and once again, she's copied and pasted what I said. Mm-hmm. Only when men mistake my ability to think for myself as confrontational, or even worse, don't realize how calling someone hard to get is basically saying that you like to get your way and will do what it takes to convince a woman to submit to your will. He says, no, not at all, but okay, nice talking to you, Catalina. I hope you find what you're looking for. And went off with his tail behind his legs. Between his legs.
Given this match, at least he, admitted defeat.
So there's only a few ways that men are going to respond when you call them out on something. They're either going to get aggressive and abuse you, like that whole, there's an example of that. I've got another one. Or they're going to do like this guy is and just admit defeat and walk away and try and act like the bigger man. Or they're just going to ghost you and disappear. Yeah, they don't like being caught.
Of course
they don't
not.
like being called out. So that I've got one more. Do you have any more?
No, that's it.
Okay, I do have a couple more.
Okay.
So this one, now this is a common pickup line. So he starts off with, hey, do you like to draw?
Oh, I've had this.
So she says, no. So his response, you don't look very creative anyway. What he actually said was, "You don't look try creative," but I know what he meant. We
understand, yeah.
So she sent that to me and she's gone, "Look at this," and I'm like, you know what he's saying? She's expecting you. He wants you to say yes, so he can say, "Well, I put the D in raw," right? Because he liked to draw. And she's like, "I've never heard that line before." I'm like, you can Google pickup lines. It's one of those ones.
So that awesome Instagram account, by Philippe.
Yeah.
It's got all the good ones.
Okay, cool. I'll have to look up that. We should follow them.
We should.
So her response was, "Sorry, buddy. Did I ruin your response of because I put the D in raw? Get better." You know what his response is? "You're ugly." Like really? I just said. Yeah, straight to abuse. But he couldn't let it go. He couldn't just block her and leave. He said that. And so she's just like, "Well, I'm going to play with this guy. Do you normally swipe on girls who you think are ugly?" He says, "No, it was a mistake." Obviously, it wasn't a mistake. He's just trying to back out. And so this is when she started going, "You got any gems to send to this guy?" So I'm like, "Yeah, tell him this. Yet you went ahead and just tried your lame pickup line anyway, just in case it got you laid, huh? Where are your standards, champ?" That's literally word for word what I said.
I love it.
"Is this concept too much for you to wrap your tiny brain around, bud?" And because I said to her, "Call him champ, call him bud, call him mate." Like, because he'll hate that.
Absolutely.
This is where you call me a slut / bitch / insert generic insult here and then unmatch me. So she's straight up onto his game.
Oh, sorry, you're doing well.
Yeah, she's just doing what I said. And he says, "Nope, was never going to say that. Have a nice night, though," and a little cross. His brain exploded.
Yeah, fully.
Because he's like, "You're ugly." And she's like, "I'm smarter than you."
Yeah, go girl.
"My friend Damo's smarter than you." No, Catalina's smarter than him. Yeah, that was brutal.
Wow.
But what a freaking idiot. Okay, so I got another screenshot that I took from Kim's Instagram. This one's interesting. The top of it's cut off, so it starts, "No doubt you are a lot of fun. I'm sure this is not news to you, but you're really tall. Taller than 99+% of women in Australia." I'm maybe on her Tinder, she's got a full-length photo of her and her friends are shorter than
really short,
her.
yeah.
I don't know, but okay, mate. "Almost as tall as me."
And who cares?
Feeling a little bit intimidated by the taller woman.
I would say so.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a bit strange for me. Some people do have an issue with that. Well, if you're a really tall woman, you probably don't want to be with really short men.
That's true,
because it just looks weird.
I mean, although it's a thing now, like there's a lot of celebrities dating like taller women, like Spider-Man.
Yeah, no, I'm just joking because I don't think there's any reason not to.
I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so if you like tall men, cool. But short men are no different. Some of them have a little bit of an issue.
Some do that whole small man syndrome.
Being scared of like people judging them for their height because they do get judged.
That's true.
But yeah, I also find it interesting when you get really short women, like 5 foot, 5'1", who are like, must be over 5'10", must be over 6 foot. Like, you're tiny.
Yes, yeah.
A man who's 5'6" is still going to be tall.
Yeah, super tall.
So when I see that, and I know women who do that.
I know lots of women who do that.
Oh no, it's got to be 5'11". Like our friend, who is over 6 foot. Now, if she wants to date a man who's over 5'10", that's kind of okay because she might not want to like bend over and feel like she's with a child.
Yeah, yeah, I get that.
But you know. I personally, it's not an issue for me. You can be any height. I will carry on. Mm-hmm. Almost as tall as me, making this a bit tricky, even though you are pretty. What's that called? When, you know when someone does that, when they like They say, is that negging?
Yeah, that is negging.
Where they say something negative, but then
it's
in order to soften the blow, they'll say something like, oh, you know, I've heard people say, I think Catalina said this to me, that someone said, oh, you'd be, or someone else anyway, it said, you'd be really pretty. You'd got a really pretty face, so you'd be really hot if you weren't fat.
People said that to overweight women all the time, though.
Like, what's wrong with just saying
you're pretty?
You're pretty.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it happens all the time. You'd be pretty if you lost weight. Oh, what a shame. You're so pretty, but you're just a bit overweight.
Yeah, you're a bit of an asshole.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be attractive because you're a dick. So
yeah.
I think that's a woman. If a woman has a man say that to her, then that's her sign to get the hell out of there. So
yes.
Yeah. But anyway, I understand hang on. Although you are very pretty. You are pretty. I am interested in your shorter brunette friend in the green dress. I'm sorry if any of this upsets you. I don't mean to. If you might be able to arrange an introduction or put us in contact, that would be great. Assuming she was interested and you're happy to help. Either way, we can still chat if you like. I'm interested in people's stories, having interesting conversations and having a laugh. Plus, apart from our heights and birthdays too, being not far apart, I've obviously already discussed that, I'm sure we have other more meaningful things in common. Thanks. Sorry again, and thanks for your help. I'm like getting it all mixed up. Yeah, sorry again, and thanks for your help, X.
Oh my gosh, your friend is prettier, so I want to talk to her, and I'm sure that's fine, and you'll be okay about that. I hope she just blocked him.
So it looks like there was conversation preceding that. Mm-hmm. So my question is, did he see the photo with the group on Tinder, look at the other photos and go, she's got a hot friend. I'll swipe on her, and if I match with her, I'll ask her about her friend. Yeah. Or did that, at what point did he decide that? I suppose people, can you see someone in a pub though, right? Mm-hmm. Not having the balls to approach someone directly, going up to a girl and saying, oh, hey, I think your friend's
really
pretty
cute,
hot.
Yeah.
You know, could you introduce me? The girl you're talking to would still be like, why don't you just talk to her yourself?
Exactly, yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, I find that to be a particularly offensive.
I find it gross that he's swiping on her maybe in the hope that they matched, in the hope he can ask her friend out.
Yeah, who knows the psyche of these individuals, but that's
yeah, no, I don't
how normal is that? Is that something that happens? I don't.
Well, it's never happened to me, but I don't have super tall or super short friends. We're all sort of the same.
Yeah, but what I also want to dive into is he hasn't just mentioned, he's mentioned her height. Oh, you're really tall, so that's not great, even though you're pretty. But your friend, he's not talking about her height because she's got a photo of the group.
I'm assuming her friend is a lot shorter.
Yeah, but I still don't think that it's an appropriate way to approach things.
Oh, it's not at all.
Keep swiping till you see a short girl. If you want short girls, or put on your bio, looking for a short girl. If women can put on their bios, I'm looking for a man who's over 6 foot.
Oh, they always do it too.
Yeah, so why not as a man put looking for someone under 5'4", who has size 7 feet.
But that's how pathetic they are and how specific they're getting. Yeah. It's that's not how dating was once upon a time.
I don't think. Well, I mean, it's always been you should be attracted to the person, but
that's specific.
That's just picking and choosing something that. Just don't talk about it. If that's what you want, cool. But you don't have to tell someone they're not up to your standard because of that. Just don't get involved. You're just going to make that person feel like crap. And then they're going to post your screenshot of your conversation on their Instagram and we're going to read about it and call you a dick.
It's perfect.
Anyway,
it works out.
I think I've just about run out. So there's a few, but yeah.
Look, there's a couple of messages I haven't even responded to in Tinder. Like this guy, you know, where is the one that I was like, oh, wow, you are absolutely gorgeous. And then, what brings you to the Tinder Dome?
Our way to the Tinder Dome.
I haven't even replied because I'm like, oh, I've got nothing.
What's taking me away from the Tinder Dome is the cringe level that you just put out, Muff man. Oh, what brings you to the Tinder Dome? You need to say like a six-wheeled beast of horror riding through. I don't know. Go and find a line from Mad Max and just send it to him.
Yeah. Because I was just like, really? And then I think that was the guy who then when I looked at his second photo, his first photo was okay, and then the second one I was like, oh, he looks a bit too much like my ex, and I was like, yeah, I can't even reply.
Yeah, that's weird. That's one of those kind of little dating rules that people you got to kind of have. Some people do, some people don't. I've discussed this with people before. It's like dating someone with the same name as your ex.
Mm-hmm. Never.
Like, no,
I just
that's
swipe
weird.
straight away.
Like you can have someone from like, you know, if it was someone you went out with in high school,
that's fine.
Whatever. But if it was like your ex-husband or wife or someone you had like a long like. No, you can't do that. Another one is like dating someone with the same name as one of your children.
So I did see a guy for a while who had the same name as like my eldest, but because my eldest, I use his whole name.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This guy,
that works.
Yeah, so I would call him like the shortened version. So if his name was Timothy, I'd call my son Timothy and I'd call him Tim. So
it's hard for my daughter because her name is only shortened to one thing. And
whereas my boys both have long names, so I call them their full names.
Although she did say to me in the car yesterday that she likes the shortened version of her name better. So I'm like, well, that's good.
Awesome.
But so that's a good point. I wouldn't not do it, but it's something that would make me kind of go, that's a bit weird. Dating someone with the same name as an ex? Totally weird.
I immediately swipe left.
I was, this may be a year and a half ago, I'd just come out of a relationship and I gave it, 6 months, 3 months. I don't know how long it was. Wasn't long. Jumped back onto online dating, matched with this girl and showed the girls at work. I'm like, oh, yeah, check out this match. Because they were like, oh, yeah, we go. Because they just asked. They're just interested, you know. So I showed them and this girl I'm working with looks at me and she's like, Damien, no. I'm like, what? What do you mean? What? And she goes, that girl is a spitting image of your ex-girlfriend.
Really?
I'm like, no, she's not. She goes, do you have any photos of your ex there? I'm like, meaning like the previous one?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. So I bring up a photo and she, doppelganger.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
And you didn't realise at the time?
A little bit. But I wasn't like thinking it through. I'm like, oh yeah, she's pretty. I'm attracted to her. Yeah. And then matched with her, started talking. Ended up like not going anywhere. Never met her. But the girl. And then I'm like, second opinion. So I've gone off to another girl I work with. What do you think? Like straight up, she's like interrupting me. She's like, no. I'm like, what is with you people? So I go to a man. I'm like, what do you think of her? And he's like, oh, she's really hot. I'm like, okay. Who's that? I'm like, that's my ex-girlfriend. What are you doing?
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she looked exactly
crazy.
It was weird. She was,
that's what happened with this guy. Like the Tinder Dome guy. Like I swiped him and then I looked at his second photo when he messaged me and I went, oh my God, no, that's my ex-husband, but it's too close.
Yeah. I had a experience, like, I've got to be careful telling this story because I don't know if people involved in this story listen to the podcast. I'll tell it anyway. So I matched with this girl on Tinder a couple of years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, if that. I don't know. I'm old. Time kind of crushes together.
Sucks, eh?
In one of her photos is a photo of an ex-girlfriend of mine. And so, but I'd already matched with her based on the first couple of photos and her bio. I didn't notice her the first when I first matched. I knew there was multiple people in the photo, but then when I looked through, once I started chatting to her, just out of the blue, I'm like, oh, so how do you know such and such? And she's like, oh, she's been my best friend for like 30 years. We grew up together. We went to primary school together and we used to live together out of high school when we started to go to uni. But then we both moved overseas to different countries. I haven't seen her in quite some time. And I'm like, yeah, well, she did live overseas for like 12 years. And she's like, yeah, well, I've been living in another country and I've just come back here. She was actually... so it's been within the last 2 years. So COVID was a thing. So she was in quarantine when we matched, right? Because she'd just flown in from London or something. And so I'm like, ooh, okay. Well, yeah, I used to date her. So I'm not going to go too far into the rest of the story. I might tell you that offline. But just because there's personal details of this story which are a little bit full on.
Okay.
But yeah, needless to say, had to kind of make that choice of whether I was going to keep seeing this girl or not. And in the end, I'm like, I don't think I can. She got really upset with me for making that choice. But it wasn't because I wanted to pursue something with this other girl. She's already moved on and is married and has a new life in another state. And I think she's just moved back to WA. But she's got a whole nother thing going on. But the girl that I started to date, like I think we went on like 2 dates, that girl was really angry at me because I changed my mind. Because initially I said, look, it's not a big deal. I think that like if you're okay with it, I'm okay with it. I dated that girl for like 5 months and then she broke up with me.
Life went on.
I've gotten therapy, changed myself as I always do, continue to, not, I didn't get therapy because of her, but like, I would like to work on myself. Well, nobody's perfect. I've made mistakes. What I like to do is reflect on what I could do better and just do better, which is one of my mottos. Just do better. Just like nobody's perfect, but aspire to be if you can. Trip over on the way. So I learnt from that experience, moved on, started talking to this girl 3 years later, I think it was, 2 years later, whatever. And then, I said, I'm cool with it. I can do this. Then went, no, I can't do this. And she was like, oh my God. And so I'm like, I can't talk to you anymore. So I blocked her because she got really aggressive. And understandably, she was hurt and annoyed with me. Yeah. But I was like, I need to talk to my therapist about this.
Interesting. Yeah. So now, what's the moral of the story is check every photo.
Yeah. If your ex-girlfriend is in one of the photos because I'm like, well, I didn't have a bad. This is the thing. Like myself and the ex-girlfriend, like I still followed her on Instagram after that because there wasn't any hatred. Yeah. We just broke up and weren't together. We don't hang out. We don't chat. We don't really have anything to do. Well, we don't have anything to do with each other at all. But I was kind of like, oh, yeah, actually, if this goes somewhere, I might have to
see her again.
Yeah. And I don't want it to be uncomfortable for her, for her husband, for this girl. I wasn't thinking that far in the future of like, oh, me and this girl are going to settle down. At the same time, like I said, they weren't really close at that time anyway. They hadn't seen each other in 10 years or whatever it was. But it was still something in me that kind of went, I'm not emotionally and mentally capable of pursuing a relationship with this girl at this point in time. She wasn't very happy with that at all. So, But these things happen. So I suppose that's a dating horror story, but it wasn't that bad. It was just kind of like I just had to make a choice. Yeah. And
I think sometimes anything like that, something small like that can be not a horror story, but just uncomfortable, which is, horror-like.
I mean, there's two things I posted on my stories today, which I don't want people to take the wrong way, but like the first one was, because I saw this come up and I thought, I'm going to share that. People swear they're fighting demons when the whole time they're fighting consequences of their choices.
Oh, I like that.
So that's what I'm doing.
Do you want to hear what I said in my story?
What's that?
Just over here admiring my arms.
Oh, yeah, there was a photo at the gym with a really not a concentrated flex, but just I don't have to flex to show you how I've got a pump on because I've been doing biceps today. So look, I'm just going to casually sit here with my guns out.
Right. I didn't even do biceps today. I did legs, and that's how naturally spectacular my arms are.
Yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So the next one I shared, I really like this too, was dedicate the next 6 months exclusively to your goals. Don't tell anyone. Don't make any announcements. Just fall back and do the work.
I love that. I'm going to use that.
Work on yourself always. That's what. Yeah. But you don't have to. You don't need an award for it. You don't need a prize. You don't need to be announcing every day, I'm working on myself. Oh. Go for your life if you want to. But I think it's not going to make it easier.
And I think I often share those posts to you, those girls sitting on the beach with their bikinis being like, this is just me being real. And I'm like,
good for you.
Yeah, good
great.
For them.
Yeah.
But it's not them being real.
Not necessarily, no. They've probably set up a photo shoot. Like, who took the photo?
Exactly.
It could be them being real.
I mean, great, good for them.
But yeah, I think that seeking praise for trying to improve yourself is that's maybe something you need to improve. Mm-hmm. I used to be a victim to seeking external validation all the time, and that, coming back to the theme of the last 2 episodes, is kind of what we do when we're dating, is we're looking for a little bit of reassurance that we're good people, that we're doing the right thing. A lot of the people that were spoken about in this last 2 episodes with the emails last week and the screenshots we were talking about.
Yeah.
Those people are not good people.
No.
Hopefully the people who sent us this stuff have been able to learn.
I'd say so.
We're not all perfect. We may encounter these again, but hopefully you notice the red flags. I have been blind. We've had rose-coloured glasses on in the past. You have.
Yes,
we all
definitely.
Do.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the take-home from this
My
episodes.
take-home is don't listen to the accent.
Yeah, okay. So I was talking in a more broad sense.
I know.
But my take home is don't go to strangers' houses with really expensive musical equipment.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, no, maybe not go to people's houses you don't know and you've never met. Unless you've already met them somewhere else, meet them in public. That's maybe something you can do. I'm not going to tell people what they can and can't do. I'm not going to slut shame. I'm not going to tell people that they're wrong for doing that.
Never.
It's just think about your own personal safety.
100%.
And another one is, try and learn from your experiences and work on yourself, because that's all you can do. And if everyone works on themselves, it's like driving in a car. If you concentrate on driving your car and being a defensive driver and driving well and being safe, hopefully you won't get into any accidents. But unfortunately, you can't control what everyone else is doing.
That's very true. Yeah, I like that. There's always something from you that's, very insightful.
I'm a font.
Meanwhile, I'm over here just like, oh my God, glitter.
He had an accent. Anyway, so that's it for this week.
Follow us on all those social media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Send us the emails at the skyenddamo@gmail.com.
Yeah. And the In My Lounge Room podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to hear from you. We want more stories. We want more suggestions.
Yeah, interact. We'll I think we in the last earlier on or in the last episode, whenever it was. Let's maybe think about doing a live feed so we can have people interacting with us live when we record something we think about. We can set up the logistics of that. But anyway, that's that.
That's the episode.
Time to go.
I think so. It's dark out there.
It's been a long one.
It has.
All right.
Good
That's
to
what
chat.
she said. Class.
Super. You're in Mandra.
nothing I can see. There is nothing left between you and me. That's why I'll never be with you again. Na, na, na,